Donald Trump is what's known in the comedy world as a big old bitch. And when someone is as big, old, and bitchy as Donald Trump about a certain subject, it tends to end up blowing up in their face. Which is exactly the case with Donald Trump and South Park right now.
Do you anticipate the reaction today? Have you been following it? What do you make of this?
We're terribly sorry.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there. It's all good.
Those are South Park co-creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone at San Diego Comic-Con last night, and their apology sounds strikingly similar to another one.
We are deeply sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. Sorry.
But the big old bitch boy in chief bitching about his brilliantly accurate portrayal in their brutal episode is not going the way he wants, to put it lightly. And we'll get to exactly how in just a second. But first, here's a very quick recap of the whole situation.
Hey, Satan!
I don't want to right now.
Creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone are addressing the controversial South Park Season 27 premiere, which showed a version of President Donald Trump lying naked in bed with Satan. The co-creators took the stage at Hall H during San Diego Comic-Con and addressed the elephant in the room. Parker had a simple reply, joking with a straight face, "We're terribly sorry." They opened up more about the headlines when speaking about their creative process. "We were at South Park this morning trying to figure out what next week's show is going to be." He pointed out that even for this week's Season 27 premiere, the show's team just recently finalized the episode's story. Just 3 days ago, we were going, "I don't know if people are going to like this." He added that he and Stone were reading news headlines and said to each other, "Let's put that in there." Later in the conversation, moderator Josh Horowitz asked if there were concerns about the Season 27 premiere. Parker referenced the episode showing Trump's penis when he shared the feedback from the network. They were like, "We're gonna blur the penis," and we're like, "No, you're not gonna blur the penis." Stone said that the show's team agreed to add eyes to the penis. Then it's a character.
But they made fun of my Orange King's peener, and that's too far. They said it was small, and I know for a fact my president's got a fat hog on him. I'm talking hog so fat he's gonna win a blue ribbon down at the state fair.
In a statement issued earlier Thursday about the episode, White House Assistant Press Secretary Taylor Rogers said in part, "This show hasn't been relevant for over 20 years and is hanging on by a thread with uninspired ideas in a desperate attempt for attention."
A desperate attempt for attention? Huh. That's ironic, because that's exactly the opposite of what Trump is looking for right now.
Really nothing to say about it. She is being talked to by a very smart man, by a very good man, Todd Blanche. And I don't know anything about the conversation. I haven't really been following it. A lot of people are asking me about pardons. Obviously, this is no time to be talking about pardons. But a lot of people have asked about pardon. This is just not a time to be talking about pardons. Todd will come back with whatever he's got. You're making a very big thing over something that's not a big thing. You should be talking about, if you're going to talk about that, talk about Clinton, talk about the former president of Harvard, talk about all of his friends, talk about the hedge fund guys that were with him all the time. Don't talk about Trump.
But unfortunately for Bitch Boy, the only things that seem to be getting talked about more than Trump and Epstein are Trump and South Park.
Everyone's talking about it today. Look at the Google Trends. I mean, look, Donald Trump wants this to go away. He obviously hates South Park, but the American people are infatuated with the story. Look at this. Google Trends for South Park up 670% versus last week. It is the top topic searched with Donald Trump this afternoon. And I will note another person they one time put in bed with Satan was Saddam Hussein. Not exactly the comparison I think Donald Trump wants.
But that was the top two. When you
Trump
plus something is Trump plus South Park.
You got it exactly right, Aaron Burnett.
Wow. Okay. So the episode didn't just target Trump. It did go after its own parent company,
yes,
Paramount, over the merger that was just approved and what happened to Colbert. So that merger gets approved today. So this was last night. So just on the eve of it, they said this.
You guys saw what happened to CBS? Yeah, well, guess who owns CBS? Paramount. You really want to end up like Colbert? You guys gotta stop being stupid.
We can't understand you.
Just shut up. We're going to give someone else the power of the presidency and also has the power to sue and take bribes, then he can do anything to anyone. It's the president, dude. all of you.
Okay, I guess maybe maybe I know the answer to this, but who exactly is South Park talking to?
You know, I think one of the things that's so important to point out was that Stephen Colbert was despised by Republicans in this country. His net popularity rating was way underwater. But South Park is in this unique position. It doesn't just talk to Democrats, it actually talks to Republicans as well. Look at the net popularity rating with the GOP. South Park is actually on the positive side of the ledger compared to Stephen Colbert, who is way underwater at minus 35 points. South Park at this particular point running 37 points ahead of Stephen Colbert when it comes to the Republican Party, and therefore last night might actually be talking to some Republicans.
Which is fascinating and actually goes to the point of the White House saying that it's a fourth-rate show. Not even a third, it was a fourth. They say that it hasn't been relevant for over 20 years. Tell us something we don't know.
I'll tell you a few things that you don't know, Erin Burnett. First off, it is the longest running show in cable, at least among scripted shows. But more than that, obviously, we're in an era of streaming as well. And here's the thing that's so important. It's not just that South Park is the longest running. It's successful in the streaming space. It is, at this particular point, a top 20 show on streaming. And that was before the season premiere. So I really would not be surprised if it jumps even further. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the top 10, especially given all of the situations going on with this particular program. There's nothing more that comedy writers like more than a little bit of drama and a little bit of controversy.
But even as Donald Trump struggles to understand the satire or doesn't think the accurate jokes are funny, even his own supporters and people on the Nazi cesspool site formerly known as Twitter, you have this post that says South Park is not funny, meanwhile right-wing political comedy. Brace yourselves.
Biden farts, do-do-do-do-do-do, Biden farts, do-do-do-do-do-do, Biden farts, do-do-do-do-do-do, Biden farts.
You have this picture of a MAGA skeleton saying we're pro-pedophilia now, deal with it, libtard. And then my two personal favorites. First, this one, hat tip to South Park, bravo. As well as this brilliantly satirical take.
You know, everybody kept texting me saying, oh, don't watch that new South Park. That's going to make you mad. And I got a good sense of humor. And I said, shit, it's been a while since I've been mad. It's been at least 20 minutes. So I turned it on. And that's pissing me off. South Park's not funny no more. And I'm not one for subtlety, nuance, and satire. I did think they were funny. Because being mean and cruel, that's funny. That's what I think they're doing. And now that they're being mean and cruel to me, I don't think they're funny no more. They haven't been funny in a long time. Not since last night when I watched that episode. And you know there's a reason they only signed a measly $1.5 billion contract. It's because they never been funny. Because they made fun of Trump's pecker. Real mature, Matt and Trey, focusing on people's genitals. And that's coming from somebody who only focuses on people's genitals. But they made fun of my Orange King's peener, and that's too far. They said it was small, and I know for a fact my president's got a fat hog on him. I'm talking hog so fat he's going to win a blue ribbon down at the state fair. That's how fat his hog is. I'm talking that thing's got double chins and stretch marks. That's how fat his hog is. You don't make fun of my daddy's weenie. And yeah, I'm a straight alpha male. Why do you ask? Because they got the balls to put President Trump in bed with Satan. That's blasphemy. And you know the devil's pissed as hell. They even compared him to Trump. And now instead of enjoying his weekend with Ozzy and Hulk Hogan, the devil's got to be on the phone all weekend with his lawyers. I thought the show was funny. For a while, I thought it was funny when they made fun of Jews and blacks and gays and transes and liberals and hippies and Canadians. And Mr. Slave had all them woodland creatures up his ass. And then he shoved Paris Hilton up his ass. And Mr. Hanky, who's a literal piece of shit, who wears a Santa Claus hat and he dances around the screen and he leaves little poo marks wherever he goes like tracks. And I thought that was funny. And then when the Virgin Mary shot blood all over the Pope, that was funny. And when Cartman had a kid's parents murdered, then he cooked them up and fed them to the kid right in front of Radiohead, no less. That was funny, but you don't make fun of President Kankles. That's too far. You don't make fun of my my president. His weenie's not tiny.
Spoken verbatim like a Nazi troll's Twitter rant or a Donald Trump Truth Social post. Bravo, South Park, and let's keep pissing Tiny Peen President off. If that's something you're on board with, then by all means join our resistance here at Really American. Thank you to all of you who have supported us thus far. We cannot do this without you, but we sure as hell do have a lot more ammunition than ever. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I will see you all in the next one.